And welcome back. And because I haven't shat in anyone's cereal for quite a while by calling their favorite plane bad, I decided to fly out the J-21 and do exactly that. What makes this thing so pitiful? It's not very quick, it doesn't climb very well without manual engine controls, the engine is an absolute furnace, and it rips before a yak tree. Now you might think, why do people think this thing is so great? And why do I die to it all the time? Well, it's very easy actually. One word. Guns. The guns are fantastic. You have 4 to 13mm for the Swedish, as well as the 20mm that you should run the default on, because for some reason it has double the HE filler. Does this make any sense? Of course not, but this is Gaijin, so it doesn't have to make sense. For the same reason that this thing is a higher BR than something like the XP50. And what makes this thing so easy to fly? It's not exactly the fact that it has great flight performance, it's actually very much subpar. Then why do so many people adore this thing and think it's absolutely fantastic? I'm not going to say that this thing rewards bad plays, because it doesn't necessarily do that. It's of course when you start pushing head-ons and just spraying at people, these guns will hit extremely hard, and very often you'll find yourself one-shotting basically everything you look at. And if you don't really know how to aim, and if you don't really know how to utilize flight performance, then the BR bump for the guns definitely makes more sense. And you see this very often with planes with very good guns like the SO8000 and the FU1C, on both of which I made a video on, and I've shown you how bad the flight performance really is. You can definitely make these vehicles work. They're not unflyable. The issue is if your enemy doesn't make punishable mistakes, you're instantly out of the game. You can't really do much. Something like a door will rinse your ass all day, and you might say, well, you outturn him. Sure you do. You do for a singular turn. So we're gonna turn in, we're gonna go up over his nose and see if we can lead into him, but he doesn't take the fight and he's gonna extend on towards his runway. So we spray at him a little bit, we don't hit anything, and we let him go on his merry way. The P-47 then turns around, so we push ahead on. We don't actually hit anything, but we have the energy here to simply go up. The P-47 here will win in the dogfight if it goes longer than 2 or 3 turns. The thing is, it won't, and we have all the energy in the bank here to simply go vertical. He goes down, gives us a very easy shot, and down he goes. And here we are with the first full match. Pretty lengthy one, a bit of a carry. We are going to be winning 1v6, and it's mostly going to be through dogfights with people that have a plane advantage, energy advantage, or a positional advantage, or all 3 of the above. In front of us there is a P-51. Now this could be a couple of vehicles. We have a D-20, we have a D-10, we have a D-5, we have a C-10, and of course we have the Mustang with only the 20mm. Worst case scenario, that's a C-10. Best case scenario, it's a D-5 or a D-20. But it doesn't really matter because he just dove, he just wasted a lot of energy, and if he wants to engage us now, he actually has to climb up for us. So we go head on, he dodges rounds, we actually miss all our rounds ourselves, and we make the pass. I definitely should have killed him in that head-on. However, we didn't, and now we have to also worry about an FU4 on our 6. And this guy, well, it's going to be very problematic, because the FU4 just does everything we do, but better. It's faster, it rips later, it climbs better, it turns better, I'm pretty sure. And if it doesn't turn better necessarily, I mean, he will have way more energy and he will turn better in the long run regardless. But now we have the P-51D on our 6 as well as the FU4. So what I want to do here is try to extend away from the P-51 as much as possible, make him break off and hope that he disengages. Because I cannot take both of these guys in a 2v1 when they're both on my 6 and one has this much of an energy advantage. And the FU just doesn't want to engage us, even though when I pitch up, even though when I give him the shots basically, he will not take them. So I'm gonna speed this up because this took 1.5 minutes of him just sitting on our ass. So I ask him to do something. Does he do something? Well, not exactly, but he's about to do something. He just needed to wake up still. So the FU is now above us, and I'm just giving him the easiest dive opportunity that he will ever get. And I don't want to go too slow because I need some speed in me to actually start dodging this guy. So I want to make him build up even more speed so we can force the overshoot. We go up over his nose, he's just holding the trigger down, he manages to hit a few 50 cals, no major damage, and we are gonna go vertical with him. And because we kept our speed somewhat high, we can do this for a singular turn. We are going to get guns on him, and we are going to absolutely take his plane apart. And yes, Mr. Stefan, that was indeed quite something. Now why is it that I kept my speed a little bit higher instead of trying to get altitude? I will not be able to outclimb him regardless. He's above us, he's going to be faster than us. So I'd rather have my speed a little bit higher, so I have some energy to work with, to maneuver with, and to stall you out with. Opposed to trying to get some altitude and then dying in the first pass. You're going to be slow, you're going to be vulnerable. And the higher the FOU goes over his top speed, and this goes for every plane, the more energy he will lose even more quickly. And if you are interested in this topic, I highly advise you to check out my energy guide, which I will link in the top right. Because it's far too in-depth to cover briefly right here, because we have a second fight coming up. I was building up a little bit of altitude, mostly to equalize the alt, so I can start diving into him slowly. Because the acceleration of this thing is just piss poor, so I'd rather climb a little bit, have some optimal thrust, and then use that altitude to dive into the fight here. So we have a little bit more energy to work with in the exact same way that we just did with the FOU. We go head on again, and my head-ons are absolute piss poor today, so we miss yet again. But I have some speed here, and I'm gonna shed a lot of it in this vertical, because this engine is made out of hamsters, and he just ends up flying directly ahead of us. And again, if I had missed that shot, he would have stalled us out, and we would have been energy trapped. And then I wouldn't have been able to set up for the P-51 in time, and we very likely would have died right there. You don't want to go prolonged in this thing, you want to end the fight in a singular turn. 2 if you are unlucky. P-51 coming in, but I'm actually going 500 kilometers an hour, and he's climbing up to us, so I just go sideways, and I make him climb up to us. He's losing a lot of speed, I'm maintaining my speed, and then all we have to do is dodge his guns, go vertical, and I don't want to stall myself out, I just want to keep this somewhat horizontal, and then we go down to intercept his flight path. We drop the flaps here, gonna turn in, and done and dusted. He is way too slow. We take him apart, we set him on fire, and down goes the P-51. Now I wanted to go for the Bf-110 right here, and I probably could have, but then the Bf-109F4 shows up. And I don't want to put myself in a too vulnerable position, so I turn around, I get a little bit of altitude, and mostly distance from the Bf-110, because the Bf-110 was definitely interested in actually going for us, and I do not want to turn this into a 2v1. The 109 is coming in, this time we actually have some room to turn around, and I do that before he starts catching us too hard, so our energy difference isn't too massive. And again, we go head on, but I just can't aim today. And I definitely could have killed him here if I just completely sended it, but I only connect one shell. And now for his energy state, I can definitely confirm that this guy has at least 3 burger meals this morning. And well, let me tell you, as a medical professional, obstipation is quite nasty, and he's ready to shit all over us. So he's now coming down. He's not catching us just yet, because we are going over his top speed, which is about 545 to 50 kilometers an hour. He's gonna compress a little bit, he's going to lose a little bit more speed, and we are losing even more speed. We're all going 360 again, and even though we are much slower, guess what? Our turns are equal. So this guy, you can instantly tell, is gonna turn much tighter than us. We cannot do this very often, but now I have a little bit of an idea of what he's gonna be doing. So I want to set up almost the exact same thing, except this time I'm going to predict where he is going to be. So he goes over us, and instead of pulling in, I'm gonna pull ahead of him, and his speed is going to carry him through our nose. He throttle drops, but it's too late, and we get a hit in, and he's not gonna like that. Bf-109 with wing damage is a little bit unstable, and because he throttled up so late, he actually ended up killing himself. If you throttle drop, or if you want to continue to power through it, make sure you stick to your plan, because if you switch it halfway through, you're gonna do neither, and you're probably going to end up simply dying. We then kill the B-25, and the Bf-110, I mean, he doesn't really want to engage us, not anymore at least. We have an energy advantage here, and he is next to the airfield, so he's actually gonna be turning around, and I'm gonna be trying to dive after him, because I'm not really a big fan of losing a 1v6 to the last guy that's an attacker, and that's going to camp the airfield, or at least that's the idea that I had when I saw this. So he's gonna be not really diving away, he's gonna be rushing it to the airfield, and luckily the Swedish 13mm carry very far, and are very deadly at range as well, so maybe we can actually make some magic happen here. So we dive after him, we're closing now very quickly, and I just didn't want to get an oil leak, so I want to turn off in time. I probably could have stuck with him, I probably should have. Luckily he doesn't actually camp his airfield, but he just loses on tickets before anything really happens. A6M2 coming in from the head-on, and we're kind of forced to just send it. We force the head-on, And now we find a J-21A-2 right above and behind us. And he's gonna be faster than us in the same way that the 109F4 was. And keep in mind, people, you might see me reverse these planes. Trust me, these planes are definitely better. Do not use this as an example. This thing is still absolute horseshit. So we go up and over. And we're gonna lead his turn a little bit in the same way that we did with the 109F4. Just want to make sure he doesn't hit us right there. We go under his nose. And then we go up once more to shed some speed. And we're gonna put everything into this one shot. He notices. We miss everything. But instead of going up, he goes back down again. And he kills himself. He turned into the wrong direction. And here we have a J-21A-2 that's, well, flying it a little bit more right. I don't know how good he is. I don't know if he's good, bad, got lucky or whatever. But he did survive a 2v1 for about 3 minutes. And he actually won it in the end. Not sure against what vehicles, but it's a 2v1. It's a J-21A-2. Yes, it's very good. Yes, it's one of the most overpowered planes at the BR. But in a 2v1, when both of them are stall fighting, it's very easy to mess up. And he did manage to win it. So he probably at least has somewhat of a resemblance of knowledge when it comes to flying in this game. So I do want to be somewhat wary. Now, I'm not exactly scared of him. I'm not going to say that this guy is some Top Gun Maverick, Showstopper Elite, XX, double MLG, whatever. But I know that he at least is probably not going to straight up fly into my guns. And I want to keep this in the back of my mind. Because, well, that's really the only way you can fly this thing. You have to make people fly into your guns. He's not going to be doing that, so I'm going to first of all push ahead on here. But we can't aim today. And he actually dodges. He goes up. Now this gives me a lot of room to simply keep on going straight. The issue is that he's actually going to end up catching us very soon here because he had a lot more energy. But he instantly breaks off. So I already know that this guy is not going to be taking the fight very easily. He's going to be playing this very, very safe. Now, I'm on the clock. I'm going to be running out of energy. And I see him turn for my teammate, so I turn for him, but it looks like he was baiting me. So I fall kind of into his trap. Now, we don't turn with him, we simply go straight again. All I'm trying to do right now is keep the pressure on him, do not let him climb. The Spitfire then pitches up for him, and he's kind of forced to go defensive here, and he's losing a lot of speed. And he does take the fight. He saw that I turned around instantly the last time, and I'm going to do it again, obviously. I'm still going 410, but I have plenty of speed to pitch up into him here. And then he does something really weird, considering how safe he has been playing it. He then tries to go for an energy trap, even though I'm very easily gonna get in range. Not entirely sure what the last move was. Plays it super safe and then just pulls up in front of you. Not sure what the battle plan was there. Probably thought I had less energy because it's a J2M or J21. Well, it's also J2M. And the J2M can basically do that maneuver against anyone. But if I have enough room to pitch in, then it's really not gonna do you much of a service. P-51 above us, and he's gonna actually just dive out. I want to keep my eye on him though, because there's nothing really to dive on other than the guy that's on the deck and very slow. But I want to keep an eye on him just in case he actually pitches back up, because he's baiting me to go for the B-25, which he very likely is. Because the second I go for him, there he comes. He's coming straight back up, and he is gonna have the energy to do that, but I'm actually paying attention, so I'm gonna be climbing. Not really climbing, staying horizontal, staying out of his nose, staying above him most importantly, and then the A6M comes in and we are forced to take this head on, because if we don't, we are going to die. And something like an A6M, I will always full commit, because if he gets past the head on, I'm basically countered for the rest of the match. So we dive on the P-51 here. We simply cut him off. He's gone way too slow. We are going way too quick, however, and we are about to blow our wings off. It rips at about 683. So now we fly straight. A6M is going to be chasing us, but he won't be able to catch us because we are going much quicker than him and we hold our speed much better at these speeds. But again, if this guy decides to focus us and then perhaps climbs on our 6, there is nothing we are going to be doing other than run away from him for the rest of the duration of the match. But he breaks off and we are free to do whatever, but we didn't get any kills, so I'm just going to be cutting it. FU 1C coming in. Now, FU 4, kind of hard to dogfight. FU 1C comes a little bit closer, because this is also an over-tiered piece of shit, just like we are. He's drifting a little bit. We crit him in the head on about a minute or two ago, and he turned around for us, he chased us, and now he's gonna try to kind of sizzle with us, and he does have a better roll rate, but I'm gonna position myself a little bit slower. I'm gonna throttle down, make sure that he starts overshooting, and then just like that, we can pull in and miss our shot. A little bit unfortunate. We drop a throttle again to stay behind him, and then he tries to go vertical when we have enough speed to simply pitch up right into him. We get some hits, we get some more hits, and then the last step fire sends him to the hangar. And here we are in the last game, and I want to show you this one because a lot of stuff goes wrong. We are in an ideal position, we are above basically everyone, but our performance is still going to be a little bit of a problem. And sure, I can play this slower, but if we play this slower, we are not going to be winning. This A6M I should have killed 100%. Going a little bit quick, and the twin boom just kind of threw me off. No real excuse, I should have killed him. Spitfire coming in. We sent some rounds this way. I'm not sure if he's actually dead or if he's just in a flat spin. But I think I took his entire tail off, and he is not going to be doing very well. And he very soon after bails out regardless. Spitfire here as well as an A6M. I'm trying to get a shot in, trying to get a shot on the Typhoon as well. We missed both, and we are just off to a great start. We have wasted a lot of altitude, and we could have killed 1 or 2 more people, 100%, and maybe the Typhoon as well, because then I wouldn't have had to go for the A6M beforehand. Spitfire coming in. We again go head on. We actually managed to connect one today. We get a crit, but it's a little bit of a bogus one, and we don't actually get any notification of what it was. So it's probably not really heavy damage. And I noticed the Typhoon on our right, and that's actually the thing I want to go for the most. But the Zero just needs to go. So we get a crit, and then we pull for the head on. He tries to go up and over us. He can't roll into that at all. So I can just send it, and I really have no danger of him committing to that shot at all. Because while it's a Typhoon at medium to high speed, it's not going to be turning around, or it's not going to be rolling around and getting the shot in. It will turn around very quickly, and if it gets past the head on and he actually goes for a dogfight with us, we are done. Like, there is absolutely nothing we are going to be doing. But in a head on like that, where I can stay below his nose, no chance he's ever going to get the shot. And yes, I kind of let that guy die, but if I turned around instantly there, that guy was probably dead anyway, and then we both would have been dead. Now I have a little bit of altitude to work with. I have a bit of an energy advantage that I can sparingly use, and we can see if we can actually get something done. We also have some teammates, and I just want to keep these guys low and slow for as long as possible. The Key 61 on the left here is a little bit of a prime target because he's kind of annoying to deal with and he doesn't really look damaged. So we go for the F6F first. I notice the Key 61 flying straight ahead of us. F6F is going below us, so we turn around, try to get the shot, but then the Key 61 gets triggered by us shooting at him like he's an AI that just got aggroed, and now we have everyone on our ass. So we go vertical for a little bit. I'm gonna see if I can push the head on with the Key 61 or something, or maybe go for the F6F. The Key 61 actually comes in, and he's gonna be too slow to really dodge this. The issue is, in the meantime, the F6F is simply turning behind us. So the F6F is now reeling us in. The Key 61 is slow in front of us, so I'm gonna finish him off. And then I really just have to engage the P63 ahead of us. The F6F is going to be on our 6, he's going to be annoying. I'm going to push ahead on, see if we connect anything, spray a little bit, draw a little bit of a circle, we both miss, and the F6F is on our 6, and the P63 can go for us, but he should go for the Yak 9, and that's what he does. So I turn a little bit to give the Yak 9 a better angle to dodge the head on, as well as a better angle to catch the F6F if he does chase us, and if he doesn't chase us, then we are free to help him again. The F6F finally breaks off, a little bit of a stubborn guy. He finally dies, and then the A6M comes in as well as the P63. But the P63 is very likely going to be focused on the guy he has been chasing. Unfortunately, he actually does manage to see us and ends up breaking off. I'm now forced to take the head-on with the A6M. Because as I said before, I will take these head-ons all day long because I cannot allow him to get past it. The Yak 9T, I have no idea what he is doing. I set this P63 up a little bit. I'm keeping him straight. And I'm making sure that he stays on my 6 by not trying to reverse him, keeping him straight and stuff. But the Yak 9 just kind of flew away, and now he needs to reel him back in. So we do the exact same thing. I'm gonna kind of draw a circle, make the Yak 9T able to cut off the P63 if he does end up following us. But he doesn't, because the P63 notices it, and he now flies into the other direction. G55 is above us, P63 breaks off, so I'm kind of forced to take this fight, because if I don't, I'm simply dead. So we go up and over, P63 dies in the background, and I'm going to be setting up my shot here with the G55. He's going to be turning up, I'm going to keep it horizontal. He is forced to go downwards here to dodge the Yak 9T, but in doing so he is giving us a very nice angle to simply click him out of the air. Thank you for playing the game, and that's kill number 5. And the Spitfire from before, he went to land, and I mean, I can't outclimb this guy. If I delay this for too long, he is gonna be the one with the energy advantage. And right now I actually do have some energy. And I'm waiting for the P61 here to see what he does, so I can make a plan accordingly. And I would just want to see who the the Spitfire tries to engage. The P61 is not really trying to pressure him. He's just flying into the opposite direction, and he's giving him a lot of room. So I'd rather bring the fight towards the P61 so that he can actually start helping us instead of flying away from him. Because right now I'm gonna have the best chance of doing this. I don't want this to go into a dogfight, so I'm just gonna send the head on. And he goes downwards, he gives us a lot of an angle, and he's too slow to dodge. He goes back to the hangar. And I will see you all in the next one.